Good morning everybody. Today I'm going to show you how you have to construct rays of light in front of a mirror. So we have here a mirror. Okay. Mirror. Then we draw an incident ray. That's coming in. Now the first thing is what we have to do. We can just take a point on the ray and draw a normal line towards the mirror. Okay. The second thing is that we have to measure the distance from this point to that point, and we draw a point exactly on the other side of the mirror. So that's about here. Okay. Now we can draw our reflected ray. We draw a straight line to the point where the line of incident is hitting the mirror, and we draw our line straight forward. Okay, yeah, so this is our incident ray and this is our reflected ray. In order to measure the angles, we have to draw a normal where the ray hits, and then we get here our angle of incidence and our angle of reflection. And you know, for the law of reflection means that the incident ray angle equals to the angle of reflection. Okay, now let's see how it works when we have an object. Clean this. Again, I draw a mirror. It's the mirror. Now let's take a simple object, just an arrow, like here. That's our object. And let's say I'm sitting here and with my eye, so from this point I'm going to see the arrow. Okay, the first thing that I have to do is draw again a normal and measure the distance between the arrow and the mirror and draw exactly the same distance. So that's here. Draw that line. Okay, we can do exactly the same with the other end of the mirror and draw a line. Now let's say we have here our eye. Here's our eye. So how do we see the image? Well, we draw a line towards the eye. So that is the ray that is coming out from the top. So that means the ray that is coming in is like this, hitting the mirror. Okay, we can do exactly the same for the arrow, and we get a line that goes more or less to the eye. Ray is coming out, and we have here our incident ray. It looks a little bit fluffy, but what we see here, the eye sees the arrow and the eye sees the arrow behind the mirror. Okay, and this image, we call that the virtual image. Virtual images cannot be projected on a screen. Okay, so that's the reason why we call it a virtual image. Okay, let's see how we can draw another object and how this object will look behind a mirror. I have the mirror here. Mirror. And let's say we have an L figure. Okay. So in order to draw the image, we measure again the distance to the mirror, and then we have one point here. I do the same with this point. That will be here, and then the other part of the L. And here is the rest of the figure. So our virtual image looks like that. Okay, so don't forget to draw the lines, same distance to the mirror. Okay, yeah. There are many ways to draw the lines. What I want to show you now is how a periscope works. You might have seen in movies where there is a U-boat and they want to see above the sea. Okay, so how does that work? Now it's actually two mirrors. So we have one end here that is above the water, and then under the water we have like a person is looking. Okay, now periscope has two mirrors, one mirror here and one mirror here, and if we want to draw the line, the ray of light, okay, ray of light is coming in here, it's reflecting towards the next mirror, and this is how we see our image. Okay, you might see them on a concert. Yeah, when people are standing behind or they are small and they want to see the concert very well. Okay. Now let's draw another example of a ray of light, and let's see how they reflect at a mirror. Okay. Now I change the angle of the mirror. Let's say I draw it like that. Here I have a ray of light coming in this way. How do I draw the reflected ray? Well, again, I take on the ray of light, I take a position, I measure the distance, and it needs to be perpendicular to the mirror, and I measure exactly the distance behind it. Okay, like this. Then I draw a line from behind the mirror, and here we get our reflected ray. And again, we can measure the angle of I and R. Okay. Now let's start using two mirrors and see how that works. Okay. One mirror here, and I have a mirror here. Okay, light is coming in. Let's see, it's coming in here, the light ray. Okay, again we take a point on this arrow, and let's say we take here the point, we draw again a normal line. So remember, this is a normal line. Okay, find the distance and then draw our reflected ray. Obviously you will be using a ruler. Okay, and again this new ray hits the next mirror, and again I measure the distance from a point on the line of ray. Sorry, needs to be the normal line, of course. So let's do this again. So here's our second mirror. This one's coming out. Okay, you have to draw a normal line from a point, measure the distance. It's about here, and there's the mirror, and then the light goes out like this. Obviously you use a ruler. I cannot use a ruler, but I think you understand what I mean. Okay, just going back to one of the examples that I gave where the arrow was not so clear. I hope this time it's a little bit more clear. Here we have the mirror. Here's the eye. And we have an arrow here. Okay. We draw the arrow on the other side. And let's say this is our point of reference at the eye where the light ray is coming in. So we draw a straight line from one. There's one ray out. That's from the bottom. And then from the top. Not so easy to draw, but really. It's one, and then we have the other one. That goes to the eye. Now we see the reflected rays. Then this one is going in here, hits the mirror there, and the other one hits the mirror there. Yeah, and you will see that practical, where you can see actually that the angle of incident equals to the angle of reflection.